Hi, I'm Charlie Robin. Welcome to my home, and welcome to the first of our Capitol Theater Baby Boomer Cookbook Test Kitchens. What I want to share with you is my recipe, which I have adapted from my mother for Ambrosia. In my mother's Baby Boomer recipe of Ambrosia, it starts with the marshmallows. Now, she says add 2 packets. I'm going to suggest 2 cups of the tiny marshmallows. Because nowadays packages are this big, and that's just half of 1 package. I might be a little generous and add a little bit more, but don't overdo. The other thing is then we have the fruit. And this is a wide variety of fruit. We have pineapple chunks, which you just dump in. The best part of Baby Boom recipes is there's a lot of opening cans and dumping. You want to get all the good stuff out of there. That was pineapple chunks. Then we have mandarin oranges. I just picked these up from Ray's. Ray's is one of our corporate sponsors at the Capitol Theater, so I'm always happy to do my shopping there. That and all of these cans were on sale today, so I love that even more. Now, my mother does refer to the fat cans for fruit cocktail. They were on sale if I got them at the 15-ounce size, so I got twice as many cans meeting up to the 30-ounce cans that she suggests. Now, I may not put all these in here. I'm going to put 3 in to get to 45 ounces, and then I'm going to see how that goes and see from there. Now, the thing about these is that's about the 2 cherries you ever get in a can of fruit cocktail. And they're always chintzy on the cherries. So one of the things that's recommended in my mother's recipe is that you go ahead and you get an extra jar of maraschino cherries because you're going to use these for decoration, and that way you don't lose them in the midst of your dumping of the cans and you don't have to pick them out. But before you actually start dumping things in cans, one of the things I recommend you do is actually to go ahead and pull aside a collection of the mandarin oranges. My mother says use one of the whole cans, so I've used that. A few of the grapes. I've taken out a bunch of the maraschino cherries and some of the pineapple chunks. So those are going to be used for decoration. Now, what I recommend doing is what I did in advance of this whole session was I actually drained off all the fruit from those cans because you don't need a lot of liquid in this recipe. What I do is I actually put those into the other reason why you get your sippy cups or your house cups from the Capitol Theater. I put the fruit in here. I use it for the water when I'm making oatmeal, sweetens up the oatmeal. I also use it for mixed drinks. I can also, if I have extra, I'll put it in a freezer container. That helps it freeze, and I'll pull it out when I need it later. But the best part of this recipe is once you've opened the cans, drained the fruit, pulled out the selection of fruit that you need for decorations, you just mix it all together. Now, I put the marshmallows in first because that way any of the juice that's still left, it goes right to the bottom and starts softening up the marshmallows, which helps. Just mix it all together. It's all great. And then, of course, because it is a dessert and somehow you can't just have fruit as a dessert, even if it is embellished with marshmallows, you then have to add your Cool Whip. You add the Cool Whip, you just get an entire tub, and you scrape all the goodness. Now, if you have a little one around, it's always great because if you leave just enough in the bowl, it'll keep them actively engaged and have them want to stick around and learn. This is how I learned how to make ambrosia because I always got to lick the bowl, the Cool Whip bowl, while Mom was making the recipe. So I always recommend enjoy this with kids. They're going to love the whole process and they're going to love the dessert. And you mix it all up. Okay, I'm pretty well mixed here. Now I'm going to do some of the controversial things. One of the things that was always a little bit of a question in our household was there was always the option of adding in coconut. So on my mother's recipe, it has an option of sweetened shredded coconut. I like the unsweetened just so it's not adding any more sugar in this. I also make a point of choosing all of the cans of fruit in light syrup. Again, don't need to add the calories, and it's still all the good fruit. What's important there is the fruit. So I do put in a fair bit of the coconut, and I love it. Now, here's the other thing that is also a little bit controversial. I'm not going to say this in front of my siblings, and they're going to see this, and they're going to question, what the hell am I doing? But what I also do is I take on the additional option of adding a half cup of sour cream. And this just adds a little bit more depth to the flavor. The only thing you have to do is make sure you mix in the sour cream really good with the whipped cream so that you don't get an imbalanced option here. Okay, I've mixed it all together. I have everything put together. Just to share with you, one of the things I like to do is also I toast the shredded coconut before I put it in the mix. Just gives it a little bit of something extra. I have all the leftover fruit from the decoration, so I get to enjoy those. And then I've done the decoration. In our family, we always try to make it a happy face. And here is our version of holiday ambrosia. Yes, we are redheaded in the house, so the mandarin oranges always have to be used for hair. You have the eyes are made of grapes, pineapple chunks for the nose, and we don't use those half-sliced maraschinos that you get in the fruit cocktail. We use the full maraschinos, so the mouth ends up being very big. You decorate it as you like. We hope that you enjoy this. From our family to yours. Have fun, try out your recipes, and I hope to see yours as well. Thanks a lot. And join us Friday, May 1st, for the Wonder Bread Years at the Capitol Theater. See you there.